back to another episode of East County Voices. You guys like that intro? Or should we use a different beat? What do you think?
I like that one.
What was the old one?
I don't remember. It was
It's the original.
I know.
That's not the original.
No, he hasn't played the original in a while.
Yeah, I like the original. Hey, you know what, Carlos? What you should play is the Carlos Burrito song.
Oh, that's trademark. They'll get us. YouTube be like, nope. Trademark.
Is it trademarked?
No, copyright infringement. That's what it is.
How is that copyright infringement? Didn't you write that one?
No, I wish I did. That's a singer named, I believe it's, I don't want to say the wrong name. I think it's, I don't know.
So that was like a real song somebody wrote?
Yeah.
Wow. I really thought that was about you. I just couldn't figure out why it was Burrito in Hand.
Tacos and burritos. It's a good song.
Did you hear that, Patty? Did you hear the song?
I haven't.
Oh my God. Carlos, you got to send that to her.
I'll send it to her.
It is freaking hilarious. It's perfect.
I'm down for
it like literally the way that it writes is it sounds like they wrote it about our Carlos.
Oh, okay. We'll have to send it so I can.
Yeah, I thought this whole time, for like a month or however long it's been since I heard it, I thought you wrote that. I thought you had extreme talent.
I wish I could take claim for that. Nope. I did do 2 other songs, but I was just playing around and I kind of cheated with AI. So I told AI whatever made the song for me, and I was like, "Yeah, that's what I wanted."
All right.
Exactly. Stay out of my head, AI. So.
Right on. Well, nice to see y'all again. I love our weekly check-ins, and then also, of course, to just talk about happenings in our community. Why? Because if we don't talk about it, then we don't know. We got to have these conversations, and not everyone can be at every meeting all the time, but as long as we keep our community tight and understand what's happening and what decisions are being made for us, for our community, it's important to talk about it, and that's the only way we'll make change.
What's wrong?
With that, what the hell happened at the city council this week? So, last week in the city of Antioch, we lost another life was lost in our city.
No, we talked about that one last week.
So did that happen 2 weeks ago that he passed?
Yeah.
So we have a city that...
But now there's a DOJ investigation and the family's update for you to pass along.
As there should be, because our city went unchecked for many, many years. There have been many lawsuits and settlements. There were probably hundreds of civil rights and human rights violations. We really tallied every single one over the years, and that's if people were to speak up. But people probably moved away. They're probably incarcerated. They probably lost their lives. Many did in our little town. But from our little town came movements like holding the police accountable. The Department of Justice arrived. The Angelo Quinto family activated and passed a California law that debunked excited delirium. We had a Navy veteran whose life was taken by the Antioch police on Christmas.
Oh.
It's a lot. Our little city has been through so much. Y'all have, to our community out there, we have some older episodes where we talked with Miss Catherine Wade and the trauma and habitual forms of harassment and intimidation that her family faced over the years, and she lost 2 sons. You know, it's we have a community that is grieving. There's a community that lives on the streets. They like to live that they live on the streets. They like to be outdoors. But we had solutions. We have advocates here that have fed our homeless. Ms. Mary, Don Carlos have gone out to feed our community and talk to them. I've
There
been
was
out.
just a gentleman at the parade for the 4th of July that was talking about needing to ask the homeless what they want
Tell us about
because
it and the homeless there. Yeah.
because because some of them don't want to come off the streets. That's where they feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Were you there for that, Carlos?
No.
I think the guy's name was David. It's like pale skin with freckles, nice haircut. No,
No. Don't remember that.
Mm.
I'm about to be attacked by chickens, so if I scream, I got bit.
How was the parade? I saw y'all's flags and your shirts. Very powerful. I saw the Andrews truck decorated. It was very wholesome and very like Antioch activist-ish, like advocate.
Oh, we
like,
were the only ones.
You weren't?
We were the only ones that were activists.
It's okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah.
People are afraid. People are afraid to wear something loud, wear something that sends a message. But people, we can't forget, like, what you wear is your right, and it's also a form of freedom of speech, and it's protected.
Yep. Carlos had his Mexican flag. We had an African flag. I had my get your hands out of my pocket flag, hands off flag with the list of everybody that just got screwed over by the big, beautiful bill. Frank came in loud and strong with genocide. He had to explain to somebody what genocide was. That was scary. I know. Could you imagine not knowing what genocide is?
Yeah.
Because
he had the no ice one, and then Raina came from Reimagine Antioch.
Yeah.
She looks good. She brought 3 of her kids. Miss Leslie climbed a ladder and got up in the back of that truck, represented the African American people.
Yeah.
And then we chanted, no justice, no ice, or no, what is it? What was it? No peace. I don't even know what we chanted. We chanted something about ice. And then we said something about sending the KKK home.
Hey, Sean.
Ooh, Sean, you got behind the panel now. When am I going to be on your show?
Right?
Right? What's the show about? Why is he not on the show? Why don't you jump on the show and tell us what your show is about?
Let's give him
Give him a link just in case.
send him a link right now. Yeah, keep talking. Don't look at me.
I love Sean. He's one of my very favorite people.
Super
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's extraordinary. Hey, do you guys ever watch that show when you were a kid, Fievel Mousekewitz or The American Tale?
I can't say that I did.
No.
Okay, so it's about these mice that move from Russia to the United States. Ooh, comics and movies. I love that.
I sent
anyways,
you a link on Facebook Messenger.
Anyways, Fievel Mousekewitz gets separated from his family when he's moving, but they're moving here because there are no cats in America and the streets are paved with cheese.
Oh.
And every time, and it's totally about fascism.
What?
So is it a show?
It's like a kid's show about fascism.
Is it a show or a movie?
It's a movie.
Oh, what's it called?
American Tale.
I feel
And there's a song, there are no cats in America and the streets are paved with cheese.
Yeah.
Anyways, when my uncle, who was a veteran of the Army, he actually died while still serving. What was I going to tell you? He got me a Fievel Mousekewitz to remember him, and I almost wonder if he gave it to me to think of the fascists. Like one day it would click.
Oh.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Also, City Council this week, something really sad happened.
Do tell.
We acknowledged Port Chicago Day,
Oh,
and nobody was there to accept the proclamation.
Yeah, that was sad.
That was really sad.
that's crazy.
JR was supposed to come, and he was a no-show.
JR of the Delta Veterans Group. Oh,
He's all right.
yeah, hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, I hope he's all right too.
Mm.
I'll join when I'm finished what I'm doing. Sean, we need you.
He's just eating. Just kidding.
I love Sean.
Okay,
I do love Sean.
I mean, so who received it for the?
Nobody. No one. Burnell read it, and that was it.
Not one veteran in there.
No.
Not one veteran.
I wonder if they reached out to the proper channels, like the local NAACP chapter, the fighters that have been
Well,
fighting.
the local NAACP is in what, North Carolina right now?
Yeah.
Yes, they're at the convention. Yeah.
Yep. Gathering.
Yeah, because it was like a ghost town at the meeting.
Miss Julie, if she would have known, I'm sure she would have been there. We interviewed her not too long ago. But she led that big fight for the Port Chicago 50. Which
Yeah.
those
Right, that's what I was asking. Remember, I asked you what the name of the lady was that came on for Port Chicago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
And then I was thinking, does Port Chicago, did they have a flag that represented? So I Wikipedia'd it.
Mhm.
It's really sad. I mean, we really just swept that under the rug. I mean, they've got a monument now, but it really, really, really was unacknowledged. It was like not talked about, nothing.
That's embarrassing. And I didn't know about it until many years after serving as well. You know?
Yeah, I just found out about it since I met you guys.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
When did I meet you? 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
2020, 2025. Oh, it's our 5-year anniversary.
Oh,
Oh,
we need to have a party.
we need a heart
I'm
thingy.
going for worms and dirt at this party. Have you guys had worms and dirt lately?
No.
Do you know what it is? It's like pudding with gummy worms in it, and the dirt is Oreo cookie crumbles.
That sounds really good.
I know, it's delicious.
Ice cream, cookie crumbles.
I did the same thing, only I did Swedish fish and Jello with Nutter Butter sand and Cool Whip waves for my son's birthday.
Bomb.com.
Bomb.com.
There was supposed to be police oversight meeting this week. I think it was canceled.
No, it happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it happened. I got the update today saying that the video was ready to watch on YouTube.
Okay.
I just haven't watched it yet because I've been having a day from hell.
I wonder if they addressed
They did. One of the commissioners apparently brought it up.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Because we have to talk and address these things, because there was the Angelo Quinto crisis response team that was established for mental health crises. The police department
Patty, they never call him. They don't call him, and they use the videos to exploit Black and brown people.
They do that a lot on their Instagram, the Antioch Police Department.
They're really, really, really bad about it. And when I asked Maloney about that, he said that they had hired a comedian to take over their social media.
Oh, okay.
Because this, what's it called? Public safety.
Because it's better to laugh at somebody who's having a mental crisis and then have them deal with the fact that they went viral than keeping their stuff private and considering them as a human being that has rights and should be respected with privacy, irregardless of what they did.
They sure did. I remember that video.
See, this is why I told you need to have a code word, because I get angry.
No, it's okay. And that's what we're here for, to express ourselves, to talk about what's on our mind, how do we tackle this. Our community out there hopefully can listen on their commutes and just tune in and follow up with where you can. The internet is a hell of a resource. If you Google anything that's been happening in Antioch the past 5 years, it's a lot, but change happened because of advocates in our little city.
Yeah.
But the shit's still happening. Lives are still being lost. How many times did that young man get shot? Did they say?
I think it was like 6 or 7. What did you hear, Carlos?
Hold on. I heard it was 7, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was way too many times
It was that,
for somebody who had a knife coming against people wearing body armor.
Oh.
I mean, because obviously getting a cut on your arm versus a person's life is way more important that you don't get stitches, right?
It's crazy. ¿Qué más? I saw that one of the local churches is going to interview the new school Antioch superintendent. I'm so excited for our little city because change takes a long time. It may take 10 years. I don't know. It's probably going to take a minute.
Well, I think Tamisha said in one of her meetings that in order to make a change, they have to change the culture, and that it takes 20 years to make a change in the culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ralph Hernandez came into the meeting and was talking about public safety, and he was talking about a time where he was on the city council, and they discussed that there should be 1.2 police officers for every 1,000 people, which would put it at 144 officers in Antioch now, and currently we're up to 90% or 90. And could you imagine how I mean, why do we need 144 officers?
To fund their salaries and fund their retirements while they abuse the community?
Yeah, because don't you I mean, and then Tamisha, she brought up that Richmond has had 0 homicides this year. The 7 months into the year, 0 homicides, because they're going to the root. They're going to fix things. They're doing more programs for kids, more programs for people that are returning to society after being in jail. They're doing things like that. Why can't Antioch do that? Oh, and the other thing I found today, check out the city of Tracy. They have an emergency housing. Did I send that to you, Carlos? Anyways, they've been working on emergency housing where they're bringing in trailers from the back of like semi trucks. Hey, Justin, what am I calling him? Tutu?
That was Miss Tamisha.
Oh crap! All right, I love you, Tamisha. What was I telling you about? I'm on a show, Warren. What? What?
We were talking about all this craziness.
Hey, I'm gonna pause you for a second. I don't know how to pause you.
Talking about
Here we go.
Trailers? Bringing in traders?
Oh, Tracy. How Tracy has a
Tracy.
and Richmond. Richmond they have a lot of programs, a lot of economic development too, and like guaranteed income pilots, combination of a lot of things. There are a lot of factors that go into the uplifting of the overall community and criminalizing and just hiring more officers. It's great for criminals, but unfortunately our community, especially our Black and brown, because it was another brown person who lost their lives. Sean, welcome.
Hello.
Sean. Happy Wednesday.
We lost Mary and got Sean. That was weird.
They did a little switcheroo, a little high five.
Juan,
Yeah.
you got the Behind the Panel YouTube channel. Tell us about that.
So behind the panel, it's something behind the panel is something I've always wanted to work on because it's about comics, movies, artwork, just a mixture of different things. Talking about like we show posters of new movies coming out, which Superman coming out very soon is the latest post we just did. Different things, and then we show some artwork. We have a schedule actually we've got set up where it's Mondays movie posters, Wednesday is art. Let's see. No, Wednesday's comic book cover, and then Friday is artwork. And it's usually like artwork that people have drawn, or it's just something like somebody has sent me that looks really cool. But yeah, but it's also a Instagram type of thing that I've been working off of. But yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's exciting.
But
so what led you to want to do this podcast and covering really cool?
I've been wanting to do something like this for quite a while, but I never really thought of how to do something like this until watching some of the stuff Carlos has done over the years and watching the show. It got me some ideas, and then I was like, hey, I thought, why not just to get it started and go from there? And it's actually been coming together really well. It's not just me working on it now. It's a group of us that is working on it, and it's all friends, which I count as family.
Yeah.
So it's really good. I've asked Carlos to help me here and there, so he's been very helpful on it. I've had my good friend, which I count as family also, my friend Timmy, my sister's boy.
Did he freeze?
He froze a little bit.
He was say sister's boyfriend.
Oh.
There you are. Hi, welcome back.
There I'm back. Sorry. Wi-Fi just thought of a good idea to mess up for a second.
It's all good. So you're building a community. You have your community.
Yeah.
You're expanding this community. I love that.
Yeah.
That's the power of our spirit and just
look who joined in.
Miss Tamisha Torres Walker, everybody.
Yay.
Hi.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Now it's it's good to hear about people doing good stuff in the community, instead of, causing chaos for no reason.
But I love chaos too, sometimes.
I mean, there's a level of good chaos. I just left. I'm excited to be going to Chichibu, Japan, with the mayor and Brad Huffenberger, our assistant city manager, and a delegation from the city of Antioch this month. And so I just left the meeting and got to meet the delegates. And interestingly enough, it's always nice to go into a room and know that there are people there who are more than willing to hate you for no reason. So actually, two former mayors, one former mayor's daughter and one former mayor's wife, I entered into them having a conversation about how disgusted they were that I was going to Chichibu, and how, they can't wait to the next election so I can be out. And I was just thinking to myself, it's nice to know that I live in people's heads, and that they're interested in knowing if I'm gonna run or not again.
That's shameful. But on the bright side, you've done a lot of work. But you're an advocate, a mother, grandmother, a family member, leader, activist. You've been all that. You're not a politician. So, you're.
Of course.
But
the parade was fun. I can't wait till Carlos put out a video.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see it. It looked beautiful. I loved your flag. I loved your cape. I loved all of the festivities that I saw that you all posted. Because the 4th of July, it's a big day, but it was important how you all acknowledged just communities and represented what is America today and who we are, um, fighting for these different systemic much needed changes. But 4th of July, y'all use the platform to. I saw a truck. I saw flags. I saw the African American flag. Miss Leslie. It was beautiful. Sean, did you see the parade?
I did see the parade. I didn't go down to the parade. Because this year I thought why not to watch Monster Jam's first live I've ever seen. So they did a whole monster trucks, fireworks, and everything, which was really awesome. But I did see Carlos's live, which was really cool, and I saw some pictures and everything. So it was really cool to see everything.
Yeah. I'm thinking back to the Japan and Chichibu. To our community out there, the city of Antioch has been doing this. Mr. Misha, maybe you could tell us more about it, where we're partnered with, students go. What is this sister city? What does it entail?
Well, I'm still learning a lot about it myself, but a lot of cities have sister cities that they work with and collaborate with, and they do exchange programs. And I don't know if y'all remember last year we had a delegation, I believe it was last year. We had a delegation of Chichibu residents come to the city of Antioch, and they stayed in, different residents' homes, and got to experience Antioch and experience our community here in the Bay Area. And then we sent a delegation of residents. Well, not us, the Chichibu delegation. It's a separate organization from the city, but the city supports, in any way it can, and also send representatives from the city with the delegation to Chichibu when the city can, to actually just show our appreciation and learn their culture, and stay in homes of the Chichibu residents. And it's supposed to be an amazing experience. This is going to be my first time, so I just want to make sure that I respect the culture, respect the people, and learn as much as I can, and hopefully come back, to our community
Yeah.
with a different insight on, how we continue, how we have community in Antioch. So I'm excited about it.
Yes, I'm excited for our community. I remember you went to an international women's something, and like just the level of representation that you have for our community and women, people of color, and on those international levels is such a big asset for our community to learn from and grow from. So thank you for going. We look forward to hearing back. And if I'm not mistaken, Antioch was the first.
Bring back a Labubu for me. Oh wait, is that China? My bad. If they have them over there. Miss Patty, I think you're still on mute.
I went on a whole rampage right now.
She did. I saw her lip. I was like, oh my God.
I know. I was like, is she talking? I can't hear.
I was just saying, like, thank you so much. Like, it's amazing to have just your leadership on international levels, because I know you attended like a international women's something. But it's in these spaces that you can, like, you bring back what you learn, and it's just going to improve our little community, and with information and methods and that build that's happening. And then I was also just acknowledging that you were part of the administration that did if I'm not mistaken, like one of the first formal apologies to the Asian community for the atrocities and injustices that happened in our little city of Antioch. But yeah, I remember you all did that formal apology down at Waldy Plaza. So that's beautiful to just keep growing that bridge with the community that was pushed out many years ago. But to build culture, right?
Speaking of representation, we have an entire group of young folks and representatives from the NAACP in North Carolina right now at the 116th convention representing Antioch and East County. They landed yesterday, and so I'm gonna be really excited to see them out there. Also go represent the city in North Carolina. And, hopefully we can bring back some good news around, more justice and liberation, and how do we continue to fight anti-Blackness in the city of Antioch. So I'm excited about that as well. So we spread out everywhere. But it's just exciting to see Antioch doing some amazing things for sure.
Yeah. Literally making history on the front line. So yeah, no, thank you for your leadership. And there's the hate. That's the thing. Like in these spaces where you, Sean, thank you, Carlos, thank you. Like being able to speak publicly about policies and how certain things affect different. Just having these conversations and speaking publicly and finding your voice, being on a platform as an elected official. It's rough out there to our community out there. Like, there's just so much fight against this good fight for social justice, liberation, equality. But then there's this other fight that they're like on a mission to erase history and undo so much equality that came to our nation. We've come a long way, and it's like we're going backwards. But thank you for standing strong, and to many other leaders out there that they're the front line.
I'm wondering, Patty, if you've seen the most recent hit piece on the guaranteed income in the county. The headline was pretty much saying Contra Costa County is giving criminals money.
Yep.
Did you see that? Like,
I saw
when
that.
you can't do anything righteous for poor people, working class people, and disenfranchised folks without getting a headline like that. That was wild. What do you think about that?
And the headline, so the community knows, when I saw that, I was like, how disrespectful. But I'm glad that I saw claycore.com. That's another outlet that pushes these disgusting backwards agendas. And so for folks to read it, oh, you can't see it, let me read it. The dumbest people in power, I'm quoting this from claycore.com, Contra Costa supervisors just voted to pay criminals $22,500 during guaranteed income pilot program. They tagged John Goya, Diane Burgess, Ken Carlson, Chanel Preston, and tried to tag Candace. That's just absolutely, it's so for our communities out there, there are people out there that will try to twist and change the narrative to paint this false picture and this false narrative. And that's why we're here to continue talking about this pilot program and how beneficial it will be to uplift and empower families that systemically didn't have the same opportunities as many others for lack of resources in the communities they're from, for lack of education, lack of knowledge, maybe just picking a different route, language barriers, you name it. So this program isn't just going to help a certain number of people, it's the families, and that's an economic boost for our county. So it's just crazy. But I'm just glad that claycore.com, like, I didn't know that there was a whole other outlet pushing this false narrative agenda. But I was also hopeful because I did read in the comments. As y'all know, I like to read comments and see what people are saying, and they called it out, like, way to clickbait. That's a whole clickbait tactic to just put some falseness out there, which is sad. But for our people out there, let's wake up and let's get this money, because it's our community funding. It's for our people. And let's get the economics like just boosted and moving and help families. Why not? So yeah, haters are going to hate, and they're going to try to stop the long journey ahead. But this is economic development. It's a basic need. that's proven to be successful in many communities across the nation. So yeah, that's how I feel. But I'm glad that I read that article because it just reminded me, like, damn, this is why we have these conversations. Yep. Anyone else? Did y'all? Frank, you're welcome, Frank. Welcome, welcome. You're on
And
mute.
sorry, I was on mute. I put up the thing in the chat for Carlos to share. It's there, Carlos, to share my screen if you let it, and you could see the headline. We don't see it yet, though. Just letting you know. Oops.
Okay, so I got
shared
the
it.
video that you sent, but the other thing, I can't share my screen. So
If you could let me share mine, I just put the headline up. But it's no big deal. I think
Let's see it though. You gotta see this to believe this. You got it, Carlos?
I don't know how Carlos does it because Carlos is the behind this curtain wizard, but I put it in the little present box, Carlos. And if you could pop it up, it's up to you. I don't know. He's working on it. There it is.
Let's break this down.
And sorry to be there joining late, but I did read through this and read the article and read some of the comments. And welcome everybody. I didn't know Tamisha was going to be here. Welcome, Tamisha. And yeah, it's kind of a low poke. I figure these guys are like the Contra Costa News of Clayton or Claycord or Concord. A really terrible smear hit piece on the topic.
And the supervisors, usually
the supervisors,
they will like target, as we've seen, our freaking fearless warrior. Like, there's people out there that will write and try to disparage, and it's a tactic to discourage folks, just like they tagged all the supervisors to try to put some pressure. But in reality, wow, like, I'm surprised that they all voted. Like, that speaks volumes. They see the benefit of this for our communities. But yeah, it's important for our communities to also be aware of what hit pieces look like. This is what it looks like. There's what's called charged language. Charged language is if you say something to attack somebody or indirectly make a comment like, oh, let me see, Frank isn't loud enough. That's a charged way of saying, well, Frank's too silent. But in this article here, the dumbest people in power. First of all, if you are in a position of leadership, there are some dumb people in positions of power, don't get me wrong. Some smarter than others. But in order to be in that position, you're voted in because people had faith in to serve in that seat. So I'm glad that this administration passed it. They passed it. It's going to happen. We're running it. The people are going to get financially relieved, and not all families, but it's a start. It's a start to something, at least until reparations for African American communities, natives, people that were robbed for generations. Until that happens, at least we have these small pockets of money to uplift financially different communities. And that's the other thing. It's different communities. It's a diverse community of pocket of people that will be eligible, and people will be able to apply for this. So yeah, let's spread the love. I'm glad. Shout out to our people in Contra Costa County. Get ready to speak on why we need this money. Rent's expensive, car problems, food, educational opportunities, sports for kids. Man, this money can help so many families in so many ways. But yeah, ¿qué más? I like your sign.
we got a video.
You're muted, Frank.
sorry, I put it in the background. Hopefully people could see it. I have I don't
Was
really
that
have
from the parade?
Yeah, I don't really have something to hang it, so it's partially blocked. Let me get my thing out of the way.
We had a lot of
But I didn't want to cut us off our conversation whenever you're ready to move on, though. But I support the general, what's it called? The GI, the general basic income, or what are we calling it? Guaranteed income, right?
Mhm. They may have different names for it, but it's coming. Miss Tamisha, any last thoughts on that? On how people can, like, I guess, be aware and the benefit of
I
this?
just think that it's gonna really be on the community and those of us on the ground to inform, communities that this is available, and that they should apply to qualify. And I think what makes it good is that, yeah, when there are people in positions of power that are just absolutely evil, um but there are people in positions of power that can make the quality of life better for folks who are struggling already right now. And so I think, like, I know I'll be posting about it, informing people. My organization, Safe Return Project, will be posting about it, informing people of this amazing opportunity. And what we'll get to see is that the struggle is real in our county, because I'm sure there are going to be massive numbers of people applying and in need, but we'll only be able to serve so many, right? And now that'll really tell us over time where we really need to be as a county related to economic dignity, and opportunities, right? So thank you, Patty, and everybody for your hard work on this. And I'm just looking forward to getting the word out, really.
That's where it's at, getting the word out. Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes. We did it as a community because we came through. People came, like, that was powerful. Because that was a fight that had been fought. They've been trying and hitting that wall. But as communities, as people, our voice matters. We were heard. So yeah.
Definitely.
Don Franklin, what you got for us? There's a video.
Yeah, I'm glad. I hope Tamisha sticks around because I got all kinds of other stuff. Seeing as the city, Channel 2 kind of dropped a big story about our most recent officer-involved shooting. I won't direct us there yet, but I understand there's going to be some video released from the police department either Friday or Monday, if it doesn't come out tomorrow, but we'll see. I don't want to divert us there yet, because if you all see my sign in the background, ICE equals Nazi Gestapo, the little print is hands off our families, hands off our friends. And if you went and through all the social media from Antioch Herald, Contra Costa News, Celebrate Antioch Foundation, City of Antioch government page, you would never know that a small group of people walked through the 4th of July parade with a ICE equals Nazi Gestapo, hands off our family, hands off our friends sign. Also a big old sign on a truck that said no U.S. aid for genocide with a Palestinian flag, because none of the local news reported on it, of the local Antioch press. And I've held off on making my posts. I've collected pictures. I walked up to Alan Payton with that same sign right behind me, and I said, Alan, here's a picture for your paper. And I held it up and I pointed to this sign. Never made the paper. And he also didn't report that as we went through the crowd chanting our slogans and showing our signs, you saw people whipping out their phones, cheering, jumping up, fist up in the air. We were cheered on for this sign, because no one in Antioch that really cares and has a heart and is a human being wants ICE Nazi Gestapo agents in masks ripping our families apart. But the Antioch Herald or any other Antioch related press has not reported on it. I will thank you, Tamisha, for posting the pictures as a District 1 representative of the Reimagine Antioch people, our signs, our message to the people that received cheers, no jeers. I might have seen a couple smug faces out there from all those people that use words like illegals, including Alan Payton. who you could look on his Facebook post, and he says how good we take care of everybody, but if they're illegal, they got to go. Okay. So saying that, I want to say that there's a lot of folks out there that are resisting this Nazi Gestapo stuff. People are still learning what to do. And Carlos is going to play a video here in a moment of San Francisco yesterday. If you guys all saw that, there was a big confrontation. It turned kind of violent as people learn and modify tactics to try to stop these ICE Nazi Gestapo people that are probably bounty hunters, racists, and other folks that want to punish Mexicans and other people that they would just classify all in one word as Mexicans. But we all know they could be from a multitude of places. And not only that, it's not limited to people from south of the border. It's people that are immigrating from everywhere. But they're really focusing on our brothers and sisters from our continent. So the resistance has been growing. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we played on this show the video of people trying to disrupt a man being extracted from the Concord Immigration Court, where 3 more people were abducted last week. And maybe we should just roll the video, Carlos, and then we'll come back and talk about, and let me set this up, I guess. So this was yesterday, and the group of folks that are doing what they call ICE Watch at the courts put out an alert about 8:30 in the morning Tuesday that said ICE is in the building in San Francisco Immigration Court, and we have reason to believe that people will be abducted. Please show up. So people showed up, and they did try to abduct someone. They got away with it, and we could discuss tactics and what that means to try to stop it after we see this video. And Carlos, I'll try to cut it off when I feel like we need to. And I'll say the faces have been blurred in this, although it was presented like on NBC News unblurred. But this is to protect people on the front lines that are trying to literally throw their bodies in the way of people being kidnapped. Go ahead and roll that footage, Carlos. And if people are not muted, be careful if you're making noise in the background. All right, so that's pretty much unedited video of the scene in San Francisco just yesterday, similar to what we saw in Concord. And this is the resistance that's been forming. And I know tactics here we can discuss because people are concerned like, okay, what if we stop this guy from getting kidnapped by ICE and took him Now he's an astounding criminal on the run. So people are discussing tactics and what we can do, but you're not going to see a lot of that unfiltered footage on the regular news, even though NBC did play a good clip. Also, before you go, Carlos, at the end of that, what we missed was an unmarked car with another masked agent pulled up and pulled out an assault rifle and aimed it at the folks. Carlos, go ahead and say what you're going to say. I'm going to get my video ready. Well,
my question is to you. So, or actually to anybody who wants to take this, but I've had people come to me, and I like fellow Mexicans, and they're saying, "Well, why do you guys do this? All you're doing is prolonging the inevitable." You know, and I'm like, wow. That's how he sees it. You know, I guess he doesn't even get it. But I mean, what do you guys think? That's what a lot of people are saying, you know.
Is it inevitable? Is it inevitable?
Prolonging the inevitable. They're going to go and be, deported. They're still taking
unless they come up with a good system and they're like, hey, you're here to work. Okay, great. Keep working. Continue paying your taxes as you do when you shop at the local stores, and stop with this massive. I mean, I get criminals, violent criminals, but gangs are everywhere. It's just identifying. But then again, it's like, aren't they due like some due process? Like, what happened to the kids when there was the mass? There was a lot of families. It was like a few years ago, and like there were people trying to break into the camps for the kids, and then that kind of went. Maybe that was resolved. I don't know what happened. Just so many issues are like boom, 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 but families are being torn apart. So what hope can we give them? Hopefully vote for people that understand human life and have some empathy for survival, for the human life, and the folks that want to live the American dream and be here. Okay, but like not like this. So to that man that has lost hope, don't lose hope. Like that's why there's people actively fighting. It's like when there was during the civil rights, people fought. There was fights that happened that needed to, and change came about. Not advocating for violence, but definitely resistance to protect families. Yeah, it's just sad. It's scary. That van, that van just looked so sketch. And if I'm not mistaken, somebody told me that there's vigilantes getting paid to incarcerate and locate and detain, like $1,000 per person. I don't know who I heard that in the family from. Does anybody know about that?
I hate to hear that, Carlos. You know, it didn't have to be inevitable, right? Like, I know, I live in a world where it's like, we know that the colonial state developed borders, right? That's what happened. And it wasn't inevitable, right? Something could have been, we could have had a better immigration system a long time ago. And you know what? It wasn't just Republicans that didn't do it. It was Democrats that also didn't do it. It was progressives in office that also didn't do it. It was leftists in office that also didn't do it. And everybody is yelling, this administration, but nobody from any party in this country has done what people have been asking them to do forever, was have a more equitable and humane system around immigration, because we have to take some responsibility for like economically devastating other countries. Like, we are a warmongering country. We invest in war. We all watched a genocide happen, right? And this won't be the first time, funded by, the corporation that is America. And so, like, I hate that this man thinks that it's inevitable that this was going to happen, because it could have been stopped. I actually like looking at that video. It was terrifying, but also a little exciting. And not that I'm like promoting violence, but people have to resist. Like, what did you think was going to happen after ripping so many people from their families. Like, resistance comes in all forms. And sometimes that resistance comes in the form of violence. Not that I'm promoting that, but like when we back people into a corner, this is what you start to this is what you start to get. And it's so sad and frustrating. And I hate that that person feels like it was inevitable. Like, this didn't have to occur.
And thanks to Misha. And let me add that this person that we don't know his name right now, that was being ushered out by that violent mob of ICE Gestapo agents, was going through his legally scheduled process at immigration court. So when they throw the BS out about we want the criminals out, when do it legally, they've been on a regular basis. Carlos, you were there last time. They're arresting people. They're going for the low hanging fruit where they know they're going to be, because as was mentioned previously by, I think, Patty or other folks, these now bounty hunters that are getting like $1,000, $1,200 a head are going to where there's low hanging fruit, and they're going to Home Depots where people are out doing stuff. They're picking up someone can throw the name out for me of the people that bring the ice creams or the corn. They got a cool name, a elote person. They're going after the solo person out there with their elote carts and grabbing them and just ripping them away. Some of you might have seen the art of the elote ice cream cabinet that's on the street, but there's no person with it. And that it's actually an art design after what happened when the masked thugs came and took the guy pushing the cart away and just left his ice cream cart there. And no one knows what happened to him. He just disappears into the detention system. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling now because I'm getting a little fired up as well. I did share something else in the screen share, Carlos. If you could pop it up, it is the end of that action, and it kind of shows what happened at the very end of that when people followed some of the agents down into the after that van sped off and threw the people off the van and took off, and 3 people had been injured. This guy that I described, which is in that screen share, Carlos, if you could do it, I don't know if you can. It's my second one. Yeah, right here. So let me hit play on that. If I have to do it here, or let me see how I do it.
That's a nice car.
Hey.
Okay.
Well, wow. I see through there because I can't seem to hit the play button. But you see that masked guy there, and he's holding an assault rifle. Let me see. Why can't I play it? I don't know why. Let me try down here. Oh, for some reason I can't play it, but if you can see the guy in the background, I wish I could just play it. I don't know why. But he has an assault rifle, and he jumped out of the car with that assault rifle and started pointing it at the protesters. I see the play button, but it's just not allowing me to do it. But all you have to do is go to NBC Bay Area, and you could look up the clash with ICE turns violent, and you'll be able to see that. But I too, let me add lastly that I too feel like there is hope, and also not condoning violence, because we don't even know what would happen if we stopped that guy. What are we going to do? Take the guy out of custody? If you guys remember my incident at the park with Shagufa and Lacey, they charged me with a lynching law because I tried to remove somebody from custody. So back in the day, if you tried to remove somebody from custody and kill them yourself, you were violating the lynching law, and they can start charging people with that. And, as I am watching in those chats, Carlos, I'm sure you're part of it still. If you're watching still, some people drop out because they text so much. But the DOJ, the ICE people, these folks, they're building up evidence. They're collecting their facial recognition. They're seeing who's there on a regular basis, and there'll be charges coming from these higher ups in the Trump administration. Also, we saw what happened in LA again a couple of days ago in MacArthur Park. They rode through with horses, armored personnel carriers. I don't know. Did you guys see that? Raise your hand if you saw it. Nobody? Okay. Sean saw it. Tamisha can't see your hand, but you may or may not have saw it. So they went to this park. Some say it's famous for drugs. Some say it's famous for being a community park. And they rode through with armored cars, probably like 300 tactical clad officers on horseback, officers on the ground, and marched through the park. They made no arrests. They just made a big show of force. And this is where we're heading. I didn't have time to get all kinds of clips together tonight, but the sheriff in charge there should get used to this. This is the new normal because we're going to be here. And ICE in the big, beautiful, but ugly bill, as Tamisha called it, they get like a 4-fold increase in budget. So they're getting boosted on officers. They're getting boosted on detention facilities. These are all ramping up 4-fold in the next few months, which kicked in immediately, not like the cuts to Medicaid and all the stuff that's going to make people say, what the F, that's going to come in 2026 and 2028. These ICE budget increases are happening already. And there are caravans of people heading to California that are looking to collect money from patriots, big caravans of patriots. I talked to the other people at the city council last night that are in those circles. It's coming. And so before we run out of 9 o'clock, Carlos, we're part of the ICE Watch network that we've been kind of monitoring. I'm monitoring as a journalist, so I could send these videos and these things to NBC, to KPFA. We're watching and we're alerting media, and we need to develop an ICE Watch signal chat for Antioch. What are we going to do when they're storming downtown Antioch and going to Guadalajara, going to the place next door, the candy shop,
the flea market?
What are we going to do when they storm the flea market? What are we going to do? Because I'm ready to get arrested again on this. I'm going to be throwing my body in front of, if my friends down the street where I just left earlier are going to be arrested because these crazy ICE Nazis are trying to get $1,200.
Right.
They're going to have to roll through me and whoever else we can get. So I feel like we need to start preparing for when they get to Antioch, because they're going to be here. They will hit our flea market. They will hit our places. I'm
not going to be like the guy who said, well, you're just prolonging the inevitable. To me, that sounds like, okay, I'm arrested. Let's go. I'll get the door for you. No. In the words of Emiliano Zapata, he said, if there's no justice for the people, let there be no peace for the government. We're going to fight this. And we're doing that. Everybody's doing their part. Some people who can't fight can still, they can record. We need to be documenting everything that's happening. We need to be, if there's not an ICE Watch group in your area, the people that are watching this, you need to form one. You need to use, it's called, what is it? Signal. I think that's where it's at. Signal is what we're using because it's one of the safest links to use. So, but we can't just sit here and let them do this. There's ways of fighting this. You
can support your local vendor that's selling fruits on the corner. Support the small mom and pop businesses, food vendors, immigrant businesses, immigrant restaurants.
And while you're supporting them, just let them know that you think this is bullshit and you're against it, and say fuck ICE and put up your middle finger and tell them this is wrong and that you're not for this. Because I feel like when they saw our sign walking down the streets and they stood up and they started clapping their hands and they took out their phone, started taking pictures of us, my nervousness went away when we were gathered at the bottom. Tamisha, you were there, and I was like, we're heading into a pretty conservative, parade. No one around us at all is anything like us. It's only red, white, and blue. dancing, country songs, good old USA music, sidestepping. We had the Pan-African flag. I had a Palestinian flag draped on my back. I was carrying that ICE sign. I was kind of scared.
Mm.
I didn't know if someone was going to run up and try to rip my flag off my back and take
They've
that
done
sign.
shit like that. They have
Yeah.
done things like
And
that.
so in New York, they arrested the veterans that were marching with Palestine stuff. So I was a little nervous, but when I got up to that first crowd of people and we started, after Joy Mott started our chant for us, and I saw people's reaction, I instantly felt like a lot better because people were cheering for us. And that's something that Alan Payton and the Antioch Herald and any other Antioch media, I don't know, the long-haired, gray-haired lady that always has the camera, I think it's Beverly or something.
Beverly Knight, yeah, she got a cut from the LCAP funds.
Okay,
She got
so
a
I'm
cut.
walking up. She was at the perfect spot to get the great shot of everybody summiting the little peak and coming down, and she was taking pictures of everybody. I came up and I seen her taking a picture of me, and I just put the biggest smile on my face, and I seen her check her camera and look, and she's double taken, and she just dropped her camera. Where is our pictures? Where is the pictures of the other people of Antioch that spoke out against this BS?
Let me add to this though, because those people, the minimum of the bloggers that we have during all of the injustices that were happening in the city of Antioch and all of our fights and all of the facts that were coming out, never did they report on the racist text messages, the skin, nothing, because it doesn't help their narrative and what they do. And then Frank, thank you for educating whoever it was that didn't know about genocide, because it reminded me of during Memorial Day when the Delta Veterans Group, the local veterans, they did their Memorial Day for the veterans, but did not raise Angelo Quinto's name. I don't know if they ever will, but I remember I marched with his picture at the very end. I was just, and I was educating people like, oh, who's that? Who's Angelo? And I would tell them over and over. And by the time I cried, like I cried of hurt and pain that people didn't know who Angelo Quinto was. And it's like people don't know of the genocides that have occurred historically and are still actively happening. So you taking the time to speak to, that person and just educating them, like, thank you. Like we need to educate our community more on the reality that we live in. But there is hope.
There is hope, and I think that's a good one. And I would just say that. Oh, Tamisha, you want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, Carlos, to the question you put up around leftists and progressives. When I made my comment, what I was trying to get across is that we have so many political parties, so much political affiliation in this country, and no matter which side of the aisle we're on, we have to be honest with ourselves that more could have been done to shore up a proper immigration, system and process. And I mean, even we have laws, right, that are being violated right now. Right. And I know they're being challenged in the courts, and the question is always, what could we have done to strengthen some of those things to prepare us for this moment? And so when I say nobody on either side of and I don't mean those of us on the ground who have been marching and organizing. I spent 16 years fighting ICE and detentions in this county on the ground in front of the jail, caravanning to the sheriff's house, showing up in communities, working with our documented and undocumented folks. I'm not saying us on the ground. I'm saying those who get elected to fight for us. We're just in a moment right now where we have to question how hard could they have fought and how hard do we need to fight now? So it was less of an indictment and more of like, what happened, right? Because if we're honest with ourselves, we hear people say it all of the time on the right? And in other places. Oh, Obama deported more people, right? Which tells us that people were deported under every president, Obama, Biden, yeah, everybody, right? And it's because the system, even though it's full of laws, the laws aren't working. And so what do we need to do? How do we need to be more expedient? How can the laws be enforced? People are getting their due process rights taken away from them. And my biggest concern at this point is there's only a matter of time, like Frank said, about being afraid to be in that parade and having a level of fear, but then feeling encouraged, and all of the people out there trying to fight and need to be careful that they're going to be doxxed, or that they're going to be eventually have somebody show up at their house to arrest them. How long before they come for us? And so that's where it was. It was just saying we need to be a lot more curious and ask a lot more questions about how we got here in the first place, because we've been fighting this for years, in this county, and I know in this country. It's not just under this particular president that we've been fighting this.
That's facts. And before we cut out, Carlos, could I just shout out to everybody that tune in to KPFA Radio Friday night at 7 p.m. That's 94.1 FM on the FM dial, or kpfa.org, 7 p.m. Friday. And I had an interview today with someone on the ground in that ICE action that shared how to get involved, why it's important to resist, and also why that person got involved. And it's a great story. It's about 30 minutes, and about 15 minutes of it is another part of this young person's life who traveled to Palestine and spent time in the West Bank about 3 months ago or 2 months ago as what they call a protective presence, where people with protected privilege as a U.S. passport carrier could stand up and say, what are you doing? And maybe have a little bit more protection than a Palestinian who might just be, if they're lucky, slapped down, beat down, or if they're not lucky, shot and killed. But anyways, that story again will be on KPFA Radio Friday at 7 p.m., 94.1 FM, or kpfa.org. You could also check out work I do on First Voice Media on Facebook, where you could watch that video again. And I'm a little behind on my posting there, but I'll get it back together soon. And yeah, just tune in to KPFA in general for good work on Palestine and the immigration crisis. Thanks, Carlos.
You're welcome. Any last words, Miss Patty, before I say goodbye and my thank yous? And
thank you all. Thank you, Don Franklin, Don Miss Tamisha, Don Sean, Don Carlos, for just speaking up and speaking out when we can, where we can, because that's our voice that cannot be taken from us.
Right.
But again, you never know. Yes.
That's right.
Stand for what's right. Stand for your family. Stand for your neighbors. Stand for your friends. Stand for this country, this great country of American freedom and rights. Yeah. Let's keep going. That's my last thoughts. Thank y'all.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, like she said, Sean, Tamisha, Frank, Miss Patty. Thank you. This is your guys' time that you're giving. And I really do appreciate that. And for everybody out there, keep fighting, keep documenting, keep exposing. And just don't lie there and be like, oh, well, it's gonna happen. No, okay. I know. I don't even want to go there. It's not going to go there, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to end up I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight,
We're fighting right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Like I didn't put it on here, but every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll see you guys next time. And
also, look out for fundraisers coming soon, because we got these costs for this show, and the
That's right.
platform, and we'll be graciously accepting donations in the near future.
That's right. So tune in next time. Viva la causa.
Also, watch Sean's YouTube and his podcast on gaming.
That's right.
What's it
And
called again,
movies.
Sean?
Are you talking about my gaming or my the one I'm working on?
The one you're working on.
The one
Or
I'm
the-
working on is behind the panel. It's movies, comics, art, all the different things. New movies, old movies, new stuff coming very soon.
New old movies.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. But if you want to follow Instagram, it's behind the panel at 1 though.
There you
So.
go. Thank you. And with that, we're out. 3, 2.